Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a movie's entitled Four Brothers. Let's get straight into the storyline. The story begins by showing a little boy being scolded by an old lady named Evelyn Mercer for being caught stealing from a shop. Evelyn also said that she would report him to the police if the little boy repeated his actions again. Because he didn't want to go to jail, the little boy finally got scared and promised not to steal again. After the little boy left, Evelyn continued shopping at the store. But not long after, two robbers entered the store and threatened the cashier to hand over all the money. Even though he gave the money, the robbers still killed the cashier and Evelyn to eliminate evidence. The next day, all the townspeople who knew Evelyn came to her funeral. It turned out that Evelyn was indeed known as a good and kind citizen in the city. Even she had an orphanage that took care of orphans and children who were abandoned by their parents. Then, two policemen named Green and Fowler were also seen around the cemetery. Green explained to Fowler how good a figure Evelyn was, but strangely, people as good as Evelyn had 4 adopted children who were very brutal and disobedient to the rules. The 4 children are Bobby, the first child known to be very close to the criminal world. The second is Jerry, who has repented from the gangster world and now lives as a successful businessman. The third is Angel, who lives outside the city. And the last is Jack, who is Evelyn's youngest child. Not long after, Bobby approached Green and Fowler, who turned out to be Green's childhood friend. He already knew all the ins and outs of Bobby. Meanwhile, Jerry's wife, Camille, does not like Bobby's presence because she is afraid that her husband will become a criminal again. But Jerry assures her that he has truly repented. In the evening, Bobby, Jerry, and Jack visit their mother's house to commemorate her passing. There, they also met Angel, who had just arrived. Angel apologized because he couldn't come to the funeral because he had just arrived from out of town. Then, the 4 of them went into their respective rooms and remembered all their childhood memories of when they were raised by Evelyn. Then Bobby, who is the oldest child, began to shed his tears because he had to lose the mother he loved so much. After crying, Bobby approached Jack and said that he felt very lost Evelyn. He did not expect that his mother would die very cruelly, even though his mother was a good person. Not long after, Angel asked permission to leave to get some fresh air and calm down. Hearing that, Bobby and his other siblings did not believe the reasons given by Angel. They were very sure that Angel's goal was to find his old girlfriend, whom he dated when he was a teenager. And sure enough, Angel brought away his old girlfriend, Sophie, that night. Angel then brings Sophie, and they live together in his house. Despite Bobby's refusal, Angel still insists that Sophie can live with him. The next day, the 4 gathered in the living room like a family. Here, they joke with each other, relax, watch TV, and play around like children. Now, they want to remember the good times when Evelyn raised them. After that, they ate chicken together, but the 4 looked at the empty chair that used to be Evelyn's seat while eating. They immediately remembered the mother's attitude, which was very strict and disciplined toward her children. After eating, Bobby invited his younger siblings to play hockey so as not to continue to be sad. The next day, the 4 of them met Evelyn's lawyer, who would hand over the inheritance and important documents left by Evelyn. Although the inheritance was not much, the Mercer brothers did not feel upset. They were actually very grateful for whatever their mother gave them, because their mother's service in raising them was far more important than just an inheritance. That night, they went to a bar to relax and drink. Then, they were approached by their old friend, who turned out to have some clues to uncover the mastermind of Evelyn's murder. Bobby immediately asked him to explain the clues. However, Jerry, who had repented from the criminal world, decided to leave this revenge to his brothers.
You wanna know what I heard?
After getting some clues, Bobby, Angel, and Jack go to a disguised nightclub, which is thought to be the hiding place of the witness to Evelyn's murder. Without thinking, the 3 of them immediately entered and pretended to be policemen. They then interrogate the gang members who allegedly saw Evelyn's murder while playing basketball. However, one of the gangsters said that he did not see directly because the field lights were turned off before the shooting incident occurred. To prove the truth of the gangster's words, Bobby took the gangster to the basketball court, which was not far from the location of Evelyn's murder. But it turns out that the gangster's words are true. The basketball court lights were turned off before Evelyn's murder. Because they did not find strong clues, the Mercer brothers decided to go home first. Here, Bobby is convinced that the murder of his mother is a conspiracy, not just an ordinary robbery. The next day, the Mercer brothers went to the store where the shooting took place to see the CCTV footage, and of course, they couldn't bear to watch their mother's tragic death. Afterwards, the store owner explained that after the shooting, the police came and interrogated a black man, and he said he knew a lot about the shooting. Apparently, the black man was a basketball player who bought drinks at his shop before the incident. Without thinking, the Mercer brothers went straight to the nearest basketball court, and coincidentally, there was a match. Seeing that, Bobby was interrupting the match by pointing his gun in the middle of the field. And at the same time, a young man was seen rushing away.
Tell me where I can find the guy.
No running in the hall. Would you shut up? You guys.
After catching the young man, Jack told Bobby, still on the basketball court, to leave immediately. Then, they interrogated the young man. It turned out that this young man did not know information about Evelyn's murder, but he told Bobby that his brother was an eyewitness in the murder case. After getting the address, the Mercer brothers went to the young man's brother named Damien. Unfortunately, the man immediately ran away after seeing Bobby chase him. After a tiring chase, Bobby finally managed to knock Damien down from the top floor of the building. Bobby approached him, then threatened to let him freeze to death in the snow if Damien wouldn't tell him who had killed his mother. Despite being injured, Damien still refused to divulge the name of Evelyn's shooter. As a result, the Mercer brothers walked away from him in the freezing snow. Because of the cold, Damien finally gives up and gives a clue about a strange bearded man who is in the casino. According to him, he is the one who killed Evelyn. Arriving at the casino, Bobby, Jack, and Angel saw the man Damien was referring to. But unfortunately, the man carried a gun and shot at Bobby. In the middle of the chase, Bobby told Angel to shoot the man, and even though their car was damaged, the chase continued until finally, the man's car rolled over. Bobby immediately approached the man and immediately beat him up. With a vengeance to avenge his mother's death, Bobby shoots the man. The next day, Fowler and Green investigate the death of the man whose body is still lying on the snowy road. Without thinking, the two of them immediately suspected that this murder was committed by Bobby and his brothers. They also went to Bobby's house to interrogate him. There, Green was suspicious when he saw the wound on Bobby's hand, plus the police had found Bobby's hair at the scene. Then they asked about the whereabouts of Bobby's car, but Bobby and Angel denied their accusations and thought Green and Fowler were deliberately framing them. The Mercer brothers were getting upset, so Green asked them to cooperate to avoid bloodshed. Then, we are shown a mobster named Victor Sweet, who turns out to be the mastermind of Evelyn's murder. Victor is seen scolding his men for hiring a hitman from the same city as Evelyn, and now he has to face threats from the Mercer brothers. Victor was so upset that he punished his men in an inhumane way. Meanwhile, at Evelyn's house, Jack and Bobby decide to continue their hunt, even though they are still being watched by the police. Meanwhile, Angel has to solve the problem with his lover, who suddenly whines. When Angel is with his girlfriend, he suddenly has a guest from the insurance company that handles Evelyn's insurance. The person then informed that the insurance company was suspicious of Jerry because, according to the bank account records, he had just gone bankrupt, but strangely, he could pay the police a very large fee. After hearing this information, Angel also suspects the source of Jerry's money, and he is prejudiced against Jerry. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Bobby and Jack find various types of guns in Evelyn's killer's house. At the same time, Angel meets Jerry's former employee to ask for an explanation. The employee then explains to Angel that Jerry once dealt with a group of gangsters who made his business permanently closed. Hearing that, Angel looked very disappointed because he felt lied to by his own brother, even though all this time he thought Jerry was still a successful businessman. Then, the former employee told him about an official who knew about Jerry's problems. Meanwhile, at home, while checking the killer's camera, the Mercer brothers find a photo of a lawyer who might know about the mastermind of his mother's murder. While they are checking the lawyer's house, Sophie arrives and causes a commotion, and is seen by the lawyer, who has just returned home. The Mercer brothers immediately arrested the lawyer and asked about Evelyn's death. And it turns out the lawyer doesn't know anything because he is just Evelyn's boyfriend.
We're seeing each other socially.
The next day, Angel explained Jerry's problem to Bobby. Bobby finally intends to meet officials who know about the problem. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Green is seen meeting Evelyn's lawyer to investigate her death case in more detail. Here, he finally learned that before being killed, Evelyn had suspected Jerry's business had suddenly gone bankrupt. At the same time, Bobby and Jack confronted the official. They immediately asked about Jerry's involvement in illegal business, but Douglas refused to answer. Because of this, Bobby threatened to burn his car, which frightened the official. In the end, he says that Jerry has dealt with a gangster named Victor. Meanwhile, Green is checking CCTV footage at the police station. In the footage, he sees Fowler meeting Evelyn and conversing, even though he said he did not know Evelyn. Seeing that, Green began to suspect his colleague. On the other hand, Angel explains to Jack and Bobby that Jerry has borrowed money from many people, including Victor. Not long after, Jerry was seen giving an envelope containing money to Victor's men. After Jerry left, Bobby immediately interrogated the person and took back the envelope given by Jerry. Because of this incident, the person reported to Victor about the threat of the Mercer brothers, who would do anything to hunt down the mastermind of the mother's murder. Victor also learned that the Mercer brothers knew his name because of Douglas. Victor therefore told the children who were playing to go upstairs, then asked for a gun while walking towards a terrified Douglas. Meanwhile, Bobby, Jack, and Angel invite Jerry to meet to discuss the events of their mother's murder. Here, Bobby is very angry and asks why Jerry conspired to kill his own mother, but Jerry denies the accusation because all this time he has been helping the Mercer family. Not only that, he also covered Evelyn's life despite bankruptcy. About insurance, he cashed out all the money to give to other orphanage children as Evelyn's will to Jerry. While arguing, Jack saw a masked man making a mess in front of their house. As Jack was beating him up, the man suddenly shot Jack, and a shootout ensues. Although the Mercer brothers managed to drive away the attackers, Jack, who had been shot, could no longer be saved. Suddenly, Bobby was very angry and sad because his youngest brother had to follow his mother. Bobby then interrogated one of the surviving attackers. Before being shot dead, the attacker admitted to getting orders to kill Bobby from Victor. After the incident, Green and other police came to the scene. Green looked sorry for arriving late there and could not have prevented the incident. Green then explained to the Mercer brothers that Evelyn had reported Victor to the police with evidence of the crime she had. In addition, Evelyn also wanted to defend Jerry, whose business was bankrupted by Victor and corrupt officials, but Fowler told Victor about it, so that was the reason why Evelyn was targeted for murder. Before Green left, he said he would catch Fowler with his hands. Green then went to see Fowler, who was playing billiards at a bar. Without much ado, Green immediately hit and took Fowler's police badge because, according to him, dirty cops like Fowler had no right to wear the badge. But unfortunately, when Green was about to contact his superiors, Fowler got up and immediately shot him. After the deaths of Jack and Green, the Mercer brothers decided avenge to Victor in their own way. Jerry then went to Victor's men, whom he knew, and asked for a chance to work with Victor again. However, this is a trap that the Mercer brothers have planned. The point is that they will finish off Victor and Fowler before they attack again. Long story short, Jerry borrowed money from the bank to be used as bait so that Victor would meet him. Meanwhile, Victor's men are seen preparing for the meeting place. Meanwhile, Angel meets a kid playing baseball alone and persuades him to help deliver a food box to Fowler's house to trick the corrupt police. Then, after that, Angel infiltrated his house and immediately strangled him with a plastic bag. Not long afterwards, Victor's men arrived in front of Jerry's house, but Jerry did not immediately open the door. At the same time, Angel called Bobby and confirmed that Fowler had locked up. After confirming that, Jerry finally came out to meet Victor's men and they took him to the transaction place. Meanwhile, Angel was pointing a gun at Fowler's head, but unfortunately, Angel's girlfriend was at the police station and reported him to the police on charges of killing a policeman. As a result, the police immediately went to Fowler's house. After hearing the siren of the police car, Fowler felt the upper hand, but Angel explained that it was actually Fowler who was cornered because he had killed Green. It turned out that Angel had secretly brought a listening device under his jacket to give to the police. The listening device had recorded Fowler's confession to the murder of Green, but unfortunately, Fowler could turn the situation around. He then dragged Angel out of the house while pointing a gun at the police who were there. At first, the police were confused because they thought the bad guy was Angel. The police asked Fowler to surrender, but in panic, Fowler shot the police instead. Because of that, the police did not hesitate to shoot and make Fowler die instantly. On the other hand, Jerry arrives at a place full of snow to meet Victor. There, Jerry looks scared because he sees Victor's men digging a hole. Of course, he suspects the hole is prepared to bury him. Sure enough, Victor did intend to kill him, but when he was about to execute Jerry, his men suddenly rebelled and did not want to follow Victor's orders anymore. Unexpectedly, it turns out that the money Jerry borrowed from the bank was used to bribe all of Victor's men who had been fed up with Victor's inhumane treatment. In the end, Victor was surrounded by his own men. Victor, who is now cornered by his own men, challenges them. But from a distance, Bobby appeared gallantly and accepted the challenge. Without much ado, the two of them fight each other. In a short time, Bobby defeated Victor, who was not as strong as we had imagined. After that, Bobby tells the gangsters to put Victor in an ice hole. The next day, the Mercer brothers were arrested on charges of murder. When interrogated, they did not want to open their mouths at all, even though they had been treated harshly by the police. In the end, the three were released because there was no strong evidence to put them in prison. At the movie's end, the Mercer brothers renovate Evelyn's house. After that incident, Bobby intends to stay in the house and care for the orphans to continue Evelyn's struggle. And the movie is over. Don't forget to click subscribe, like, and comment.